Hello, my name is Amanda, and this is my electrical box project proposal. So, I wanted to focus on an issue that affects one of the most important aspects of life in New Bedford, the ocean. I chose the topic of marine pollution to be the focus of my piece to help educate people on how pollution occurs and how people can help reverse its effects. In my research about efforts to do just that, I found out that the harbor in New Bedford has dangerous amounts of chemicals being dredged for safety, as well as efforts to clean single-use waste out of public ports as well. I wanted to use this research to help show possible viewers of my work where pollution comes from and how we can fight against its negative effects. So for the design of my electrical box, I wanted to use simple graphic depictions to get my point across without using words, because it's near a street and a crosswalk, so not everybody is just gonna stand and stare at it. And I was mostly inspired by artists like Keith Haring, who used the simple colored figures to get their point across easily. And since I wanted the front of my box to show people cleaning up pollution and litter, I thought having them being easy to see would draw more attention and the message that it represents. So in my sketch, I wanted to show where a lot of the pollution comes from, and especially the chemicals being dredged from the harbor came from factories dumping them into the ocean and the bay or harbor, and the water people work and live on. And on the front, I wanted to show how people work against that and clean up what they can to do what they can to help. And on the sides, I wanted to show what gets affected by the pollution and the trash. So I wanted to show the wildlife and the nature that gets negatively affected by chemicals and just plastic floating around. And on another side, I wanted to show New Bedford itself and certain landmarks to show that it affects the people that live there and the town itself. I wanted to keep the background more neutral to set it back from the other elements of the piece, and use more unnatural colors for the centers of the painting, the people and the trash they're picking up. The trash more so because it's the most important element of the piece, in my opinion. I wanted to use similar colors for the figures as someone would see in a herring painting, and I wanted a bright, eye-catching color to represent the trash and the pollution, since it's what's need to be looked at the most, because it's the most important issue when we're looking at pollution. It's just all the plastic that's getting into the water and our food and us. So I tried getting more neutral colors, but the colors of the people were very bright. So I still chose muted but still bold colors so they pop out but still look natural against the rest of the piece, since nature is the crux of the issue being affected here. So here's my flat colors. So I used the people cleaning up, they're bright compared to the back, which is all doom and gloom and just gray. And the trash is the brightest out of everything, because it's the most obvious part of pollution, is just trash just floating or just sitting there in nature where it shouldn't be, and it can have negative effects. Yeah. So here's my physical model of the electrical box. One thing I would do is keep the bold black lines to more emulate the Keith Haring style. And because I think it would add to more detail while keeping it simple still and make everything pop out more. So here's my perspective drawing of what it would look like in the space that it's meant for. The line work is here, and if I were to get the paint one of these, I think the lines would add detail without clustering more like elements into the piece. So I'd just be adding the black line to make each piece more bold, so you can see it better. So that is my electrical box proposal. Thank you for listening.